So, keeping to my promise of bringing these videos back, I thought to bring you along on the process of what I'm currently working on, which is trying to introduce my new generation of designs in time for the year-end season. I always end up doing this where everything else in life gets in the way, and by the time it comes around to start prepping for a new design, it's October. It's been like this for the last few years. So this round, I have the most number of designs that I'm trying to work towards introducing at once. I think after just building up the skill sets and understanding how the process works, it does feel a bit more achievable. That being said, it is still pretty ambitious. I'm hoping it will come together. If it doesn't, it's okay. We'll just try our best. So yes, you come along and just join me on a day and afternoon of, random bits and bobs. So today is actually Sunday. I kind of dragged myself to the studio today because I was doing work at home. Behind the scenes stuff, we were spray painting our objects, which is a new part of the process that we've not done on video before. It's a bit messy and I have to do it at home, so I don't know if I'll turn it into a video, but at some point we'll explain it. But now I'm here because there are some things I need to do in the studio just to reset things and let them kind of run on their own, and then I can head home and rest. Key task today, I need to reset my resin printer so that I can get more master objects going, which we've not done on video before, so that's going to be an interesting one to film. I'm also working on some design prototypes for a pen holder, specifically for Muji pens, because I love Muji so much and I think it's a good pen. It is ready on the printer. We just need to make sure that the size that I've gone with actually fits the pen properly. And the third one, which I'm going to be dragging my feet on definitely, is I've got a new shipment of tools that I use to craft and also for my workshops. And I need to find a space to organize them and place them in. But okay, I want to start on the messy one, which is the resin printing. So let's head over there. You're gonna see the ridiculous outfit that I have to wear just to be safe around resin. So here we go. So this area is my resin printing zone. When I was making videos last, this bit didn't exist. I didn't even know how to use any of these things. But essentially, this is what I now use to make my master objects. You do have to take precautions when it comes to working around resin because it's not safe to just directly touch. And so let me show you the ridiculous outfit you have to wear just to make it reasonably safe. So, obviously you would start with an apron, just because you don't want to damage, tarnish, if you will, your clothes. I wanted to get a kind of workshop uniform, if you will, but I can't really afford it right now, so we're just using, I'm just wearing the clothes I would wear to go out, so that's fine. Then I would do, because I have to move the camera a bit, so I'm not going to wear it yet, but usually gloves will go on at this point. Now let me show you the ridiculous one. These are what I use. Respirator, obviously. Let's see if this is the one that makes it look ridiculous, because A, you have to wear this, so then it muffles everything. B, look at what it does to the hair. Actually, today's not that bad, but can you see like that? Or is it? Can we see? Look at this. All in the name of safety. And then finally, the final piece of the fashion runway puzzle is safety goggles. Now, I make this joke. Okay, I'm gonna take it off just for the camera. I'm kind of joking around about it, but it is important that you wear these things because obviously you want to protect yourself when working around these sorts of tools. So yeah, but essentially that's what I have to wear before we start touching it. I'm gonna leave the camera on a tripod while I do it because it gets messy. I can't really touch my camera in the midst of doing everything. So maybe we'll do voiceover stuff so I can explain the process roughly. But yeah, so let's get to work. So this portion was supposed to be nice gentle music with ambient noises of resin printing. Unfortunately, my mic was picking up all of my breathing from the respirator, so it sounded a bit like a sci-fi movie. So instead you have me talking here. Anyway, so what we're doing here is actually cleaning up the resin print. So when you first get the print off of the printer, it is not safe to touch directly. you actually need to remove the supports, which is what we're doing here. Because of the way resin works, you do need to have supports in order to form the shape, but once it's printed, you actually don't need it anymore, so then you remove it. This part's a bit of a trial and error. You kind of have to figure out on your own what support system works best for you. Ideally, it should be something that is quite strong, rigid, but also something that comes off easily enough. Anyway, once that's done, we're placing it into an isopropyl alcohol bath and washing it using a wash machine. This gets rid of any remnants of resin still left on the surface of the object, allowing for a cleaner finish when you actually do the next step, which is curing. Midway through, I actually flip the object over because depending on how much alcohol you're using or the shape, it might not actually cover everything. And specifically with my case, I actually find that it keeps the surface cleaner because I'm not the most diligent when it comes to replacing my alcohol. Then we let it drain, and then I actually just leave it on an angle to allow the surface alcohol to evaporate, as well as for any excess from the holes underneath to drip out. Finally, once that's done and we're using a different batch here, we're going to put it into the curing machine, which allows the resin to be safe to touch. And once the machine actually stops screaming at us, it will actually spin and use a UV light to cure the object. So that's the messy stuff out of the way for today. Next up, let's take a look at what has been printed here, which is the prototype pen holder. Trying to build up an essential deskwear range, essentially. And so the pen holder is one of them that I've been exploring for a while. I've decided to make something that is compatible with the Muji style pens, just because A, I really like it as a product, I mean Muji in general. B, a lot of people do use it, so at least it's like a standard product that we can use. The reason why we've got 3 different sizes here today, I know you can't really see it on camera, but they are marginally different in diameter. So I have already printed one previously that was way too big. So this is like the second iteration, and this is the nature of any new design, is that you need to go through this prototyping phase. It is lovely to now have a filament 3D printer that allows me to do this in-house. Previously, when I was making videos, what I had to do was send the 3D model to a printer who would then print it. It would take about 3 to 5 days for it to be ready, and then it would need to be either shipped to my house or I have to go and collect it. So that whole process was so slow. This one, within an hour, I could actually just take it right off my printer, and then we can see whether it needs changing and then just change it. So much more efficient. Right, so there are 3 different sizes that we're working with here. I am wondering whether or not any of these are going to be the right size, because it does look like the diameter of this is too big. So the goal with this shape is that I want it to actually stand upright with a little bit of leeway just for human error, and also I don't know if there's any variation in the pen size. And also just in case anyone does want to use it without like the Muji pen, at least there is something that, there's some tolerance, if you will. So this is the control. This is the 100% scale that I did in my software. We're gonna see. I have a feeling it's not gonna stand upright. Yeah, see, there is tolerance. I don't know how. I feel like this is too much because I don't really want it to be doing that. Like, because naturally, if someone just puts their pen, it doesn't come to a natural, like, neutral position. This one is slightly smaller. Let's see if it helps. Oh? Oh, okay, wait. It's better, but you see how there's still a bit of a, if you're gonna just naturally like, oh, I'm throwing my pen, it's better, but not sure. And I mean, that just immediately rules out this one, which is actually bigger than the control, because, well, actually, oh no, okay. Yeah, see, so it does kind of do that. Although, I don't know. I am going to try printing one that is a little bit smaller so that I can see whether it does rest at that neutral pose. But maybe the slight angle is fine. We shall see. I did already kind of increase the diameter. Actually, why is this still on the plate? Let's remove it, shall we? Okay. Alright, thank you, plate. Thank you for your service. I will deal with you later. And then we just peel off this little brim that I include just because I find it keeps the designs on the plate a bit better. I did already factor in that there is a certain depth that the cavity has to hopefully allow enough of the body to sit within the pen holder and keep it more upright. But I don't want it to be too large of an object either. So this was sort of the balance that we ended up with the fact that I'm trying to like use this form. The smaller diameter does help a bit with the wobble factor. See, this is the control. I don't know, do you see this on camera? I can feel it in person, so hopefully that conveys across in video. But yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do, I will have to print one that's even smaller than our small version, and we shall see from there. But yeah, so this is sort of the area of the creative design process that I didn't really show you previously because we didn't really reach this point of, you know, knowing how to do all this, but this is the prototyping phase. So like kind of iterating, trying different things out, seeing it in the real world, visualizing whether I like the form, whether it works as a like functional product, and all of this before we actually do the master object, which is what we were cleaning up previously. So interesting times here. So yes, we will print another smaller version, and then I'll leave that running as I kind of focus on everything else. So organizing inventory and prepping all sorts of tools and stuff was not really something I factored in to maintaining and building a business. Like, I mean, obviously, I knew it subconsciously that that would be a part of the work needed to be done, right? But I think until you actually go through the motion of doing it as part of your actual routine, you don't realize how much time it takes up. Most of the time you'll be thinking more about the creative stuff of like, oh, I get to design this, I get to market this. But no, actually a lot of this is also organizing, and clearly there's so much to do here. One thing that is good, despite how honestly slow I feel my progress has been in terms of finding systems for myself, is that I do feel like now I am reaching a point where there is somewhat of a system. I have this kind of area now that it took a long time to settle, but now there are finally shelves that have like designated items to go in certain areas. And now that I've done a few of these large workshops as well, it's easier for me to have a sense of what needs to be prepared, how much inventory is needed per workshop, and then almost start prepping and setting it aside so that I don't have to stress as much the next time there's a workshop. Like right now, I have this bag, which is what you saw earlier, that is ready for a 40 packs workshop. If and when someone gets in touch and be like, hey, we want to run a workshop, we want to do it next week, can you do it? I would be in a much better position than I would have been previously to do something at such short notice. Although, just saying, you should probably get a bit more lead time for things like that, for the sake of everyone involved. And actually, as you go around kind of organizing stuff, you start to realize as well, okay, certain things need better systems. Like, I'm looking at this whole ice cream stick situation right now, and how I have all of this, right? And I just don't feel like this will be an easy thing to, or like group, should there need to be specific items. Like for example, for a workshop, I'm doing 50 at a time, right? If you keep it in the pre-bundled paper, it's fine. And then you can just take like, okay, a bunch like this. But if say I have standalone ones, like, oh, not this one. Oh, and you can see like it's so tedious. Once you take out one bundle, everything else goes all crazy. So I need to think of a better way to organize these sticks. I'm thinking maybe I could 3D print something. So that could work. But at least we set it all aside into one place so that we know sticks go here. From a just dropped one. From a finance side of things as well, up till now, whenever I had something like a big workshop or an event, I would have to buy a lot of things immediately leading up to an event. And whenever that month comes to an end and you look at the finances, it's like, yikes, that was a huge amount to spend, right? And so there's been that cycle. Now that I know how much needs to be used generally for a workshop, right? At least I've gotten all of it in one shot because I bought in bulk. Some of the shipping and the like actual item discounts are better, and I don't have to worry so much now about the whole cash flow of, in order to move on a workshop and do a workshop, I need to spend this amount to like get it done. It helps with that. I feel like that for me has been the biggest headache as well, is cash flow. And this was an interesting one to feel in reality because I know obviously profit is different from cash flow, which is different from sales and things like that. But you don't feel the impact of like cash flow being a limiting factor until it happens. And right now I'm in that state of the business where like my biggest problem to solve financially is the cash flow. So hopefully all of this will help. The big sticks are gonna go here. That shall be where it all sits. And then I do need to consider where these are gonna go. So these are the small sticks. I've got the long sticks as well. So many different ones. I do have a little drawer that I use for my actual crafting. I might just put some of them in there right now. But this bundle's a question mark. I might just slot it there for now. One of the areas that I also feel is pretty underutilized at the moment is actually this storage shelf. I'm gonna put this plate back because I got this to store a lot of the heavy duty or large item things. Like for every aspect of the stuff I'm crafting, there's some really bulky items that I need to just put aside. And that has been the biggest struggle for me to figure out. So we've got like huge packaging boxes. I've got filaments for prototyping. I also have the Jasmonite kits, the powders, liquids. They are 35 kilogram kits. Think of it as giant like buckets of stuff. And there's only so much space that I have to work with. So everything has been dumped here, but I do feel like it could be better used. For example, here, this is just a box of random kind of stuff that actually doesn't even have anything to do with crafting. It's stuff like the accessories for the oven I have in this studio. For the new kind of like bulk inventory that I have, I should probably look towards moving it here. So yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, I'm moving this aside. It's one of those things again where it's like I basically just move the mess somewhere else and then deal with it another time. But hey ho, that's just the process, I guess. So all of this, that is packaging boxes, so it will belong there. This one is a spare build plate for my resin printer. So I'm gonna put it together with the resin printing stuff, which in itself needs its own organization, but I need to put on all the gloves and things, so that will be cleaning up for another time. Maybe what I need are dividers almost for this space. Oh, this is so low. Okay, and so by clearing up whatever was underneath here, which was like a spare table for me. Oh, the light is so harsh, I'm sorry. But what it does mean is that I can essentially let's close this just for illustration here. Assign this to be the workshop inventory zone. So basically, everything that I would need to just grab and go of a workshop can go here. And what else do we need? So we've got that. We've got the powders. The powders can go here. Then this is like, you know, the bag of cups and stuff we had earlier. That can go there. Within here, there will be some of the heavier stuff that would be better to kind of like roll along in luggage. I realize this is a terrible way to short it. I apologize. This bag needs organizing, but I did bring this all in total the last time, and so, so this sort of stuff, like, you know, the trays for service and stuff, all of that will go into this new area, and then, not the nicest looking, but you get the point. Essentially, the workshop stuff will go here, and then so it's grab and go. I know that everything goes here. Ideally, if this could be a bit more organized, that would be great, but it's a first start. I feel like we ended up creating a bigger mess than we started with, to be honest, but at least it's a more organized mess. Ultimately, this is a work in progress, and every time I use the space, it's going to become a mess again because that's just the nature of the work. But at least there is sort of a better system in place as I keep doing this to know, like, okay, this section is eventually going to be just for this, that section is going to be for that, things go a certain place, and hopefully that will make life a bit more efficient and a bit more systematic. I've mentioned it before, but organizing is not something that comes naturally to me. So any progress I make in this area is honestly a win. So I will keep at it. I will keep working on the stuff. I have my pen holder prototype that actually still print, so we'll be doing that. And the sun is pretty much setting. I don't even know what time is it actually. But yeah, so that kind of wraps up an afternoon here at the studio. This is sort of the stuff that I have to do to keep this business going, to keep things moving. So I hope you found it interesting, or at least, I don't know, mildly entertaining to watch someone organize in a poor manner. I'll leave you to it. Have a good day, stay safe, stay well, and we'll catch up again soon.